Hi friends, welcome back to the studio. I'm Esther, and today we're going to talk about something that can make quilting a whole lot easier, quilting guides. If you've ever sat down at the machine and wondered, how do I keep my quilting lines straight? How do I space them evenly? Then this video is for you, because I had the same questions and I went and did some searching and found out that there's at least 4 different ways to create quilting guides so you can have neat, professional, and stress-free quilting. And there's more than 4, but we're going to talk about 4. We're going to talk about drawing lines right on the quilt top, using washi tape as a guide, quilting with a ruler, and using a guide foot on your sewing machine to keep your lines straight. These methods work whether you're a beginner or you've been quilting for years, and the best part is you can use tools you probably already have in your sewing room. So grab your quilt sandwich and get cozy, and let's jump into the first method. Today I'm quilting some of my Christmas gift bags I'm working on, and I run into a problem. I have this one that I got on Amazon for less than $10. I thought it would fit my machine, but it doesn't. And how I wanted this to fit was similar to this, where it would sit here and I could just run my guide over it, just sew, and then it would do it. And this moves it in and out. Well, this doesn't fit my sewing machine. I have ordered another one. I do have one of these that's made for my machine for a Juki to try it out. So I've got a few options. The other thing I looked up, and it's how to measure this, or what guide you could use. One was this tape. So this is about 1 inch wide, and I've got it right here on the edge of my foot. So right there up against this side. It's running down through here. And I'm just trying to guide it. You can see right here I actually sewed over some of it. I didn't catch that. Okay. So then I'm just going to keep going. Now I will tell you I have cotton batting. I have a layer of interfacing and then the fabric. So I don't have a backing, because what I'm going to do is make these into pouch bags, which I can't reach right now. I'll put a picture in so you can see it. And it kind of wiggles. I've been using it all the way across so far. So this gives me this measurement. I'm going to set that over here. Another idea is to use your ruler. I don't know if you're familiar with freehand quilting. They use different things like this and follow the edge of the ruler. Well, this ruler is big enough. What I can do is go back up here to the top. And for me, when I'm quilting these, I want it to go, see, I started here and here. I want to be off of my fabric a little bit. So I'm lining up right here, this line, the 1 inch line. Actually, I need to measure that. Okay, that's 1.25 inches. So I'm going to get the 1.25 inches right here, and I'm going to line it up with my previous line. So then you can see how the ruler is just running right there. And actually, I'm going to move it to 1 inch because I forgot about this extra width that I had in there. And this is running right along the outside where I was going on the inside. So I only need 1 inch. And you see how this butts up against that foot. And I got it lined up here. And now I just move this down, and I still got my line as best I can get. Now this didn't quite work for me, but I mean, it's working great. But for me, I would prefer it to be able to not have to worry about the lines and just have some kind of a guide to go by on the side. And I'll show you that when I get the new guides in. But I wanted to try out this fabric for Christmas bags, and I've got some more, but this here was just a sample so I could kind of see what they look like. So being impatient. And again, I go off into the batting over here. So another way that you can do this is with chalk. You can line your line up again. This one needs to be at 1 1/4 to make up for that little bit of a thing. And I've got just chalk. And I just run this down, lined up, and you would do it for each one. And it takes a while, but there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so now I'm going to have the needle go right down that line. Y'all see what I'm doing? I'm sewing with no thread. I mean, we're going to get nowhere like that. Get in here. I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I'm out of thread on the bottom. So I'm going to open this up. I usually open this one up too. And this sits in there like this. I take my finger and I pop that out and pull it out. And then that gives me my bobbin. So with your bobbin, I've got it wound going this way clockwise. And I just drop it in here. I had a little piece of fuzz in here I don't need. I actually need to clean my machine, but let's get this, work on this a few more minutes. So what I did, without saying, is I drop this in, with this thread comes to my right, and then there's this little slot right here, and you're just going to bring it down in that little hole. And the same thing when I put it in with holding this. Now, the Dookie Junkies, they have another way that they put it in, and I can't get it like that. Might not get this like that today. Okay, there we go. I think that's it. So what I do is I pull that thread back up with this one. See, I got the thread through the needle. I'm just going to go down and up and see the two. And I have learned the hard way. This is my thread catcher checker. It's been pretty wore out. And there's my stitches. So I use that just to get started. So I am back to just to the chalk line. We're going to start up here. Now my needle is going to follow the chalk line. So if you're watching and you're paying attention, you see that the needle is in different positions of what it's following between the foot and the needle. See, this way is easier for me because if I had this piece out here, I would just run along that line. I wouldn't have to do any marking or anything. Just keep going. Same thing with the light. See how much faster it is to have your markings on here. So I do like working with the tape. It does seem to work with little worrisomeness to my stickiness is running out too. So And just take this and keep moving it. Just kind of set it in front of that presser foot, line it up with this. So today I'm going to finish this using this piece of tape. So quilting is my favorite part of doing this. I'm just going to bring it back. And when you're quilting, you go from like the middle out. When I started, I was going this way. Now I'm going the other way. Yeah. So as I'm doing this, I have different tension with each kind of way that I'm trying to work this. So the ruler, I'm pushing more down so it doesn't move my fabric. The line, the chalk line, I'm moving in a different way because I have the line and all I need to do is follow it. So I'm holding it differently. And even the tape, I'm holding it down. So that's putting different pressure on your quilt and how it feeds through here. So what I've done is I moved my needle a little bit more that way so that the foot is running along the edge of this tape. And it seems to be doing better. So I do want to do cross hatching. So when I finish this, I'll set it up to do the cross hatching the same way, but I'll let you see what I'm doing. So I've done very little quilting with tape, but as I keep going, I am getting faster at this. It is helping that I moved the foot over just a little bit so that it's just running along the edge. And then I can kind of just pick it up and move it if I need to. So then I take, and when this is kind of ripply, I'll pull it loose. I use some spray basting to baste it down. So I just keep going to the very end. And I'll just throw one right there. So I'm using white chalk. It's just, it comes in this pack that I got on Amazon. I'll try and link it below. What I did when I started this, and I didn't show you, is on this ruler, there's 45-degree mark, there's a 30-degree, there's a 60. What I did was I took and laid this 45-degree line across one edge of my fabric, and I drew the line. So now I'm going back the other way, and I actually kind of want to be, this is a short one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line these lines up with that. So it's not a 45-degree line. And usually I do this with a little bit bigger. So these lines are basically where I'm looking at, kind of looking to make sure they're halfway straight. I'll tell you, my quilting is not straight. So then as I go up, I'm kind of checking those lines again and checking my chalk goes to right here. So I didn't go all the way up on it because I wanted to have that steady line. So I still got a little bit to make sure this line is straighter. Usually I get up and go to my cutting table and I have a bigger ruler. So if you see, here's my line. So there's stuff on this side, there's stuff on that side. I'm going to start and probably go that way. That's just the way I usually do it. Let me see. No, trying to think. Okay, so I'm just going to, now I'm going across. I'm doing cross hatching. I'm just going to do the same thing. This first one's already there. And then we're still using our tape. I'm just going to do it like I did on the other side and start off the fabric. And we'll run it across the side. So this one is quilted the way I'm going to quilt it. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it up and make some bags. But when the other pieces come in, I'll show you how they work and how it helps you to quilt. I just thought, hey, I don't know how to do this, but there's going to be a lot of other people. I'm going to see if I can't do this. My camera's kind of sitting crazy. I got this 22 by 36 inch fabric thing I'm quilting. So I'm using this, which I have at 5/8 of an inch right now from the needle, so I get these rows. This little piece right here, and I'll show it to you in a minute, is going along this one. So I'm not looking at the needle, I'm looking right here. So I'll let you watch for a minute and we'll come back. So I'm lining right there. So I'm using cotton because that's what I had. This is polyester. I don't know, can you see the difference in the quilting? Get you back. So this is a little puffier than this. I mean, it's still puffy, but not as much as this one. So what I think I'm going to do with my other quilts is I'm going to go up to an inch, because this one is made with the cotton and it looks more fluffy. The more you quilt it, sometimes it makes it less fluffy. So I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to take this off and clean my machine, and I'm going to come back and we'll put it back on. We'll see. And I have my other one over here too. So I'm kind of getting more of this extra added over here. So it's getting a little bulky, and I got the camera and all that in the way. It's been sliding through here pretty good. I have my presser foot raised up to just the right height that it's catching, so it's rubbing between the two, and it's pulling it really nicely until this gets to dragging down here. So if I kind of pick it up and get it up off my lap and between the table, it works better. Now, I have rolled it up. I had it rolled up on the other side, so let me see if I can get this way. Sometimes it just gets on my nerves. Now, my sewing machine is more on the rabbit side than the turtle side over here. I like to drive fast. So I just keep pulling it back and forth. Put both hands, one on each side. I'm not really pushing it down because it's sliding across really good. I'm just kind of guiding with my fingers gently. And if it does start getting heavy down here, I do kind of push it a little bit toward, under the foot. So I'm fixing to change the bobbin, and this is in the way. I'm pushing up as far as I can. That is the one issue. You could put it on this side, but then it was getting in the way of my hand to lift the presser foot. So now, see, I can't get in there. I'm going to have to slide this back and carefully reach in there and grab it. And one thing I can tell you lately that you really need to do before you put your quilt under there is check it. So this is just scrub. Well, how many times I have done that and it gets a big old bunched up thing. Okay. So when I got this, it was like this. 3 pieces. I sat here trying to figure out how to do this and be able to use this foot instead of that big old walking foot. I don't even know where I put it at. Directions. These were my directions. Not very good, at least for me, but they did help. So what I did, and I had to find that little bitty pin before I ever got all of it to work. So when you slide this in, you can see right here that you twist it and it just puts some pressure against your thing, and mine is not going in right because I got too much pressure, so it's not coming through that hole, but it's supposed to go through both. And you tighten it down, and then it doesn't move. So then the other part of this, I forgot what I'm doing. Okay. I took it apart and that quickly, I know. Forgot what it is. No. No. Okay. There we go. So this is going to slide in here. So that's your screw that's going to go in your thing right there. I have my presser foot. So I'm going to hold my presser foot and I'm going to see if I can get all these three angled at the same time. What I found a while ago was easier is to get the screw started on my sewing machine because that foot will go in. There we go. Did I get it? No. Okay. So it's on there now. I do have room to slide this little foot under there. And then this is my screwdriver. It works really great. It does not work in my sewing machine though, but for a screwdriver, it works perfectly. See if I can get this in, get it twisted more. Okay. I just take it and twist it. I try to anyway. So see how I'm just taking it and that's on there. So now I want to put this here through those holes right there. Loosen that up again. There we go. Now you can put this on either side of this thing. I just like it here because right here is the mark that I really like to use for my quilt. So now I'm going to put this on this side. You can put it over here if you wish, but it seems like it's getting in my way. Maybe I'll try it over there this time. I need to tighten this up a little bit. So my presser foot's not on there good yet. It kind of slid. There we go. I think I'm up there. Sometimes you just have to play with this. Yeah, for now, because y'all get aggravated doing this. Sometimes especially when it's new. So what I'm doing, see, it'll fit right down in there, but it'll fit right here too to measure. And I just tighten that screw up. Let me see. I know it's here. I can feel it, but these screws are a little bit lower than the other ones. Okay, so I'm just gonna quilt for a while. And that's it. 4 simple ways to create quilting guides that will help you keep your lines straight and your quilting beautiful. Today we looked at drawing your lines, using washi tape, quilting with a ruler, and using a guide foot. Remember, there's no single right way, just the methods that feel comfortable for you and work best for your project. If you found this helpful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. And if you have any other ideas on how we could do this quilting, definitely leave a message there so I can check that out, because I'm still looking for other ways to do this. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I'm Esther, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy quilting.